Hey there, gang. Jan Anderson here in the lovely Bay Area. It was 80 degrees here yesterday on, what is it, February the 11th, I think it was, a couple days ago. Anyway, back to normal now, except without the rain. We need rain. Send us rain. Anyway, today I decided since there's some noise going on in the neighborhood that I would share with you a little bit about how I decided to develop my studio, my recording space, to suit my own needs. Now, my first my first attempt at some sort of isolation and dampening of room noise was essentially a cardboard box, like a wine case that I lined with packing foam, and I shoved my crappy little USB microphone in there and thought it sounded great. Well, that lasted for about 2 weeks, and then I realized no, it might have sounded better than it did in the ambient room with all the echo and everything going on, but no, it sounded like crap. So when I finally decided to make the investment in my space, I had to decide. Well, I did a lot of research, tons of research. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get a book that I suggest you get your grubby mitts on. Okay. This book here by Dan Friedman. He's a voiceover guy and knows his stuff when it comes to audio. So get this book. This is a great one to have in your voiceover library. Get it. Page through it. Not everything will apply to you, but it's good. It's just really great information to know about what you're doing audio-wise. So anyway, and Dan actually helped me. I reached out to him for some advice, and he helped me decide what to do with my space. Now, how did I decide to come up with using my whole room as a studio recording space, as opposed to using a closet or buying a whisper room or some other type of ISO booth like that? Well, fortunately, I live in a relatively quiet neighborhood, and so that's not to say that it's noise free. It's not, but for the most part, I can go for long stretches of recording time without having to pause and wait for noise to go away. It still happens. I live next to two regional airports, not right next to, but I get air traffic, and it's a family-friendly neighborhood. Kids around, when school's out. There's a park adjacent to here, but there's open space in my backyard. There are rolling hills, vineyards, and country. So that's great. So I didn't really feel the need for an isolation booth. I wanted to be able to sit at my desk, record, edit, do whatever I needed to do. Let me just adjust my camera here a little bit. Do whatever I need to do without having to jump into a booth and come back out and, back and forth, back and forth. I just want to be able to sit here because for 99.9% of my work, I sit. Some people like to stand while they work. That's fine. That's great. Whatever works for you, I sit. So anyway, so I wanted to just treat the whole room. So I, went back and forth about using foam or buying some other type of product to, put around the walls. And again, research. And finally, I decided to build panels, acoustic panels, sound treatment panels. Let me grab one. Okay. Show and tell. Well, you probably just saw one. That's one right there on the back wall. Now here's one that I built. Essentially, it is a wooden frame filled with rock wool insulation covered with burlap. I went with these materials because I saw them online as being suggested materials, and I like the look of them. I like the open weave of the burlap. And rock wool was a very good product for absorbing audio frequencies. So, hey, that sounds great. And it's not fiberglass. It's like fiberglass, but it's not. So anyway, I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to show you some pictures about how I constructed these. I'm kind of a DIY guy anyway. My previous job, I was a plumbing contractor. So I've got tools. I can build things, and I like it. It's a fun challenge for me. And so I went about making my own panels. And so anyway, let me show you some pictures, okay? I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this is my garage floor. And here you can see the wooden frame. I just made this with fir, or maybe it was pine. Judging from that knot right there, maybe it was pine. But it was 1x2 strips of wood that I cut with a miter saw to the length that I wanted. Now I bought rock wool insulation, Safe and Sound rock wool insulation. Safe and Sound is kind of like their the name for the product. But anyway, but I'll get to that. So I built this frame. They're 4 feet by 2 feet, and then the burlap is laid over here because I was going to take this staple gun and staple the burlap to the back. This is actually going to be the back of the frame. As you can see, the burlap didn't quite go all the way, so you can see in the next picture, I used another little scrap because again, this was going to be the back. This was not going to be showing. So now you can see I've got the burlap pulled taut over the back of the frame, and it's stapled to it. Now the next picture, now this is the rock wool. This is rock wool insulation. Again, rock wool is the brand name. Safe and Sound is the product name because it's safe, fire safe. It is fire retardant, or fire, well, it doesn't burn easily, I guess is the main point, but it absorbs sound. So it's very good for sound insulation. So now I've got a 4x2 piece of rock wool insulation laid on top of the burlap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that frame with the backing and place it over this. So that's what it looks like. So now I've got the frame over the rock wool insulation, which is on top of the burlap. Now I'm going to take the burlap and bring it around and staple it again to the back of the panel so that's kind of the finished product. I'm going to stop sharing here for just a second, just to grab this one again, so I can show you that. See, all the corners are pulled tight, and this is the back. So I just stapled the burlap to the back of the frame again. Obviously, I used 2 colors of burlap, so I've got 2 different colors of panels around. So anyway, as you can see, it was just the scrap that I used for the back. Okay, back to pictures. If I can get there. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so there's a finished panel, and then that's just a collection. What is that? That's 9 of the. How many did I build? I think I built 16 of them. And so then again, this is just in my garage, and here's what they looked like when I installed them in my space. I'm a guitar player. Could you guess? So this is my ceiling. It's kind of a cathedral pitched ceiling, and I hung these 6 of them right above me in the room, and then in this corner area, I kind of cocked them at an angle, as you can see there. It just helped with absorption, knocking down those reflections. There's a tighter, same wall, same corner. Then you can see I've got another one coming down the wall. Then that's the one directly in back of me here. Then the next picture is you can see that's still the same picture of the Madonna. And then more panels coming around the room. And then that is to the other side of me. More panels. And I'll tell you, it works great. I'm going to stop sharing. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Oh, that's the view from my yard. Oh, this is just another. Well, I may as well tell this picture too. I live about less than a mile away from an interstate highway. And when the wind is blowing in the wrong direction, noise from the freeway creeps over my way. So I had a dual pane window in my office here, and I added another. So now what I have is a quadruple pane window. And I'll tell you, it really helps a lot. And it was a pretty easy thing to do, and pretty inexpensive. So I highly recommend that if you have if you have that capability, if you have that need. Okay. Anyway, stopping sharing. Okay, so here's what I did for these panels. I bought the materials at Home Depot. The rock wool was a special order, but it was easy. You had to buy a minimum of it. I didn't use it all. I sold the rest of it to a musician who wanted to build something similar to what I was building. I bought the lumber at Home Depot, the staples. I had the tools. I had the miter saw, the staple gun. To put the frame together, I used wood glue and a finish nailer. Boom, boom, into each corner. I used some finish nails to hold them together. What else? The burlap I got at Joann Fabrics on sale. Just about any fabric will do. From what I understand, it's better not to get a super close weave fabric, so tight that theoretically some audio frequencies could actually bounce off of it. It won't be absorbed as easily as a loose weave. What else? That's about it. Then to hang them, I just used like gate hooks and hollow wall anchors up in the ceiling and on the walls. And they hang, a little loosely on the wall so that the audio, the sound frequencies can pass through them and then reflect off the wall and then be treated again as they come back. I'll tell you, it works out great. And as you can tell, my whole space isn't covered for every square inch. It's not. It's covered as much as it needs to be. And it's worked out great. I couldn't be happier. And I'm comfortable, which is really important in your recording space. You want to be able to be comfortable for hours. When things ramp up and you start working a lot, well, you're gonna be sitting here for a long, long time. Sometimes it feels like forever. But what are you gonna do? What else did I want to say? I guess that's it. That's what I decided to do. That's what I decided to incorporate into my space to make a very comfortable, very well treated space so that I could work here and do everything. Do 99.9% of my work. Anyway, that's it for me. This is kind of a longer video, not my usual quick and dirty tip or whatever. But anyway, I hope you got something out of this. If you have a question or comment or anything like that, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to like the video and subscribe if you desire. And anyway, that's what I did. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining me. Bye.